Are you stuck in a job that you absolutely hate? If you are, this video is going to be for you. I'm going to be breaking down 4 reasons why we get stuck in these places and some things you can look at to start to shift it. My name is Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that I'm doing some free breakthrough calls. There's a link pinned in the comment section below if you want to sign up for one of them. What these are they're 30-minute Zoom calls where we go over your vision for your life, what it is that you're inspired to create, what's been coming up or subconsciously blocking you from either moving in this direction or having it manifest, and then some steps you can take to release this baggage and transform yourself into the person who embodies the life that you want. So who here hates their job? Who here gets stuck in jobs that they hate either once, either now, or repeatedly? This is a pattern I dealt with for so many years, and it caused me more pain than probably anything else, even than getting my heart broken in relationships or near relationships, because it can be one of the most soul-sucking, life-draining experiences you can have. Why? Well, because we spend most of our time at work. 5 days a week, or 6 or whatever, 8 hours or 10 hours a day is almost everything. If you have other responsibilities, you come home, you take care of your kids, or you take care of your partner, or you just recover your body in order to get ready to go back and do it again, there's nothing left over. And so this is one of the biggest traps that people face in terms of creating joy in their life. And it was for me. I spent so many years working jobs that drove me nuts, working serving jobs, working driving jobs, working phone sales jobs, I would start and stop. I had a new job every day. I actually prided myself on how many times I could start a new job simply because it was my subconscious way of just being like, fuck you, system, I hate you. But it still didn't make me feel any better when I was stuck. So why does this happen? Why are you stuck? Okay, so the first reason I'm going to give you is because sometime in your childhood or growing up, you became disconnected from what you love and what you enjoy. And this can happen for a number of reasons. We all kind of have it when you go through childhood trauma, which is pretty much a prerequisite to being alive on earth. We tend to shut down our love. We tend to shut down the things that really excite us and bring us enthusiasm. And when we do that, we shut those frequencies and realities off within ourselves and within our own body. And so then it's very hard for us to find our vision. It's very hard for us to manifest things that we love because the love is suppressed. I'm going to give an example that doesn't directly correlate, but it does, and you'll understand in a second why. And this has to do with sexuality, but it's very, very related actually to jobs. So I was reading about this culture. I think it was a Samoan culture. I don't remember exactly. It was kind of like a tribe. I don't remember where I read it, but the author was breaking down how, sex is so taboo in our culture, and because we repress all of our sexual energy, we end up acting it out through trauma patterns, and sort of darkness. And he or she was explaining how there was this tribe that had very wise elders, still connected to the earth, still connected to, nature, love, consciousness, etc. And sex was not restricted. It was not prohibited. It was not judged. It was not condemned in this culture at all. And what would happen was when the kids started to become teenagers and they started to have like a sexual urge, instead of being told it was bad or it was the devil or whatever it is that we tend to grow up with, it was encouraged, and it was healthily encouraged. It was lovingly encouraged, and they were given spaces to just have sex with who they wanted to have sex with, basically as much as they wanted. And what would happen is they would experiment and explore in a loving, accepting space. They would get it out of their system, and very often, very young, they would manifest their partner. They would manifest the person, their soulmate, that they would spend the rest of their life with, and they would. And the reason this was because they weren't suppressing anything. They didn't suppress anything growing up. They weren't judging themselves. And so therefore, they didn't need to spend 20, 30, 50, 100 years of a lifetime manifesting their trauma patterns and working out hell with other people that weren't the right match because they weren't in touch with their own true self in a loving space. Well, we do this with what we want to do with our life because there's taboos on everything. So you can start to look at what it was that you loved to do as a kid. What brought you joy? What brought you passion? What brought you vision? And where did that get shut off? Where is it shut off in your body? Where are you restricting it? Where are you believing you're not worthy of it or you weren't allowed it? Who told you that? And then you can start to unravel these patterns. And when you do that, you'll start to feel a frequency that calls to you that will then kind of inform your mind of what direction you want to go in so you can start to get out of this horrible job. The number 2 reason, this is connected to number 1, but we are responding to programming that we inherited from our parents or our elders, our guides as children that conditioned us to do a certain thing. So a lot of times our parents had ideas for what they thought we needed to do to be successful. And as kids, we just absorbed that. We absorbed it completely and we subconsciously took it in, whether some part of us rebelled or not. Even the rebellion is fighting against the belief that it's true. Because if you really didn't take any of it in, you wouldn't need to rebel. So regardless of whether you rebelled or not, you absorbed this conditioning. Why? Because you wanted your father's approval or you wanted your mother's love, or simply you were just going to get in trouble or cast aside if you didn't do what they told you. This is common for everybody, but I would especially advise that you look at this if your parents were immigrants. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because if your country, the country that you grew up in, was not the country that your parents are from, just think about how much more of a need there is to fit in when you're moving somewhere that isn't your natural home. There's more of a desire, there's more of a yearning, and there's more of an effort to kind of figure out what the kind of eye stock, proper or good, successful, status-filled jobs are in order to feel like you belong. So when you have parents like that, what they do is they will really strongly push that on their kids. I see it a lot with my clients. You have to be a doctor or a lawyer. It's usually doctor or lawyer, right? Because that's just what everyone thinks in America is like the ideal job, even though most people who are lawyers fucking hate themselves in their lives. Or, doctors are worn out all the time because they work themselves to death. Okay, so I would look very strongly, what's your conditioning? Who told you what about what you needed to do to be successful? What are your beliefs about needing to be successful? And what would you have lost? Or what punishment would come, or what condemnation would have come, or would come if you went against what your parents or your culture or your ancestors believed you needed to do in order to be successful? Because the success connects to love. So if you do something outside of what they want, you will feel abandoned, betrayed, and unloved. The number 3 reason you may be stuck in a job that you hate is actually a good one. You might be learning something skill related, or even behavior related, emotional related, mentally related to what it is that you're meant to do, but you're not quite there yet. Okay? I had this happen. I had a job for 4 years. I was an assistant to the CEO of a small tech company, and I had so much trauma around using computers, around learning new things, around figuring things out for myself. And this job for 2 years was a nightmare. Now, the boss I had, I'm actually really grateful to him in many ways, but he was very narcissistic and it was a very difficult environment to work in, simply because of him. But I went through all this trauma around learning how to build websites, how to do marketing, how to do social media, how to project manage people, coordinate people, make task lists in Excel, in Word, all these things I didn't know. And I was miserable. But those are all the skills I use now to run and to begin to run my own business. So even though like I wasn't happy, it was leading me somewhere. So what I would do is I would ask, is the job that you're in now actually beneficial for you in a particular way? Are you, and you can ask your higher self, your guidance, your spirit guides, whatever you believe in, or just your subconscious from a loving space. Is this really best for me? And what is it that I'm gaining from this position? Now, what can happen there is I had a lot of self-punishment programs, so I manifested a job that was giving me what I needed, but also significantly punishing me emotionally and mentally at the same time. So you might want to look at like, is there a better way to do this? Is what you're learning beneficial, but is there somewhere else you could go that's more loving and conducive to your healing process? And the number 4 reason for today, why you get stuck in a job that you hate, is because you have deep-seated beliefs around scarcity, beliefs that you're obligated to work for the system that you're in or the matrix, and therefore a fear around stepping out into your power and working for yourself. So this is a lot to unravel. I can't go into all of it in this video, but the basis here would be to look at, where do your scarcity beliefs come from? Your mother, your father, did you grow up in poverty, or did you grow up in a middle-class family or even a wealthy family where they were always afraid of losing the money, scarcity around money, scarcity around abundance, scarcity around love? Because what happens when we have these programs is they amplify even more if we step out onto our own, because we're taught from the system that we grow up in that we basically need to serve the system, and that the system will keep us safe in a way. There's a safety to working for somebody else, and it's almost like Stockholm syndrome. It's like the system abuses you, it takes your time, it takes your energy, it gives you back money that's not anywhere near what you're worth, but there's a comfort in that because of the trauma. The thing though is, if you're really meant to work for yourself, you're never going to be happy there. But the rub is you have to face even more of your fears, because when you step out onto your own, it's going to bring everything up. You got to clear the scarcity mindset. You got to clear the fear of empowerment, the fear of leadership. So where are those traumas from your childhood? Where are those traumas and belief systems in your body, in your subconscious, in your life now? And how are they contributing to your fear of really cutting the cord to doing something that's abusive but kind of safe? Because it's not really safe, but your mind thinks it's safe because you're just conditioned to do it. Anyway, looking at all of the things underneath these 4 reasons will help give you a lot of clarity onto why you're stuck. And one of the biggest things that I can recommend is, when you really start to iron out like why you're stuck and what it is that you love, you can, even if you have to stay where you are for a while, at least if you begin to have a vision and a calling and something that excites you, you won't be as miserable where you are now. Because sometimes things do take time to play out. You do have to stay where you are for a bit, or somewhere that you don't really want to be before you get your ideal career or whatever. But at least if you unlock the joy within yourself, the passion within yourself, the enthusiasm within yourself, you clear your scarcity mindset, etc., you will make room for the vision to come in and pull you forward. And then you will be connecting the job that you have to where you want to go, instead of just being stuck. So let me know how this goes. Let me know if you have any questions, revelations, breakthroughs, concerns. I always love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I have a free energy clearing. If you want to download it, it's in the description below. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate you. Until next time, bye-bye.